All right, day 15, halfway through. No halftime pep talk. We're gonna go Bill Belichick style. Bill Belichick. Well, we just need to make this one play and this other play, and we're still in this game. I saw some video of somebody that's like, I've spent more time in OpenClaw than anybody in the world, 210 hours in the last few weeks. And I'm like, isn't the point of OpenClaw to not have to spend 200 hours a month with OpenClaw? Isn't the point to set it and forget it, to teach it skills and turn it loose so it's a 24/7 worker? That's my goal. And the reason why I've gotten frustrated in the first couple of weeks over and over and over is because the time spent just debugging and trying to figure out why it stopped working, or it'll be working fine, and then the next heartbeat check-in it just stops. And it didn't hit a rate limit, there's no real reason for all of this stuff. So I find that it's more of a waste of time trying to figure it out than it is just to do stuff with Claude and Claude Code and just work. Because I'm still getting exponentially more done that way than I was previous, even though it's not with an agent, it's with AI still. But yesterday's news was pretty interesting in the morning. Kimmy AI from Moonshot AI comes out and says, hey, we're adopting OpenClaw directly in the browser, which was really just a sign-up ploy, I think, because it doesn't do anything more in the browser than it already does if you have the Chrome plugin installed, to where you can just click it on any browser tab, and then OpenClaw has access to that tab. I haven't seen that Kimmy does anything different. And their promise that it's one click is actually not true, because it's one click to get the API. You still have to set it up with Terminal. You still have to go in and make sure that it's all configured properly to work with Kimmy, the models and all that stuff. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're still not going to be able to set it up probably, because the only reason I knew how to do it pretty quickly was because I already have set up multiple agents using Terminal. So I knew how the process goes. But then by the end of the day, Sam Altman announces that they've hired Peter, or whatever his last name is, the guy that invented OpenClaw, or that programmed it and released it to the wild. So as part of that, now OpenAI has OpenClaw. And of course, Sam Altman says they're going to keep it open source and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, we've heard that story before. But just a massive fail by Anthropic to get on the guy and tell him he can't call it Claudebot and not pick it up. And now their biggest competitor, OpenAI, just picked it up, and OpenAI has Codex now. So that was a big fail by Anthropic, I think. But anyway, are we going to hit 100x? Are we going to hit 10x? I feel like I'm already at 10x just based on what now I have the capability to do with Claude and Claude Code. But we will see, because I got a lot done last month just manually. So we'll see how much more I actually am able to get done. And honestly, I'm staying on top of what's going on with the news with OpenClaw, because I really want to be able to use it. But I just find that it does what it wants, and then it stops just randomly for no good reason. And then I have to waste time debugging it. And if it takes me more than like 15 minutes to try and figure out why it's not working or why it's not restarting, then I'm just like, screw it. I'll just wait until the end of the day and then restart it and see if it, the overnight heartbeat check-ins or whatever, how that goes. So far, I haven't gotten a lot of productivity, let's say, out of OpenClaw. Much more out of just Claude and scripts. And so, but I'm staying on top of it, because if it becomes more functional, and there's still some videos that I need to watch and some articles that I need to read from the last few days over the weekend. I made a bunch of videos last weekend, I just didn't post them because it was all this kind of the stuff I'm covering. But you're never going to be able to get the human out of the loop. That's one thing I want to say. You can't, bots are not going to have taste, and even money can't buy taste. And so, the Rick Rubin meme of me when I'm vibe coding and he's like doing an interview, he's like, I have no technical talent, I just have incredible taste musically, which is true. He's an amazing music producer, and that's what really good vibe coders or agentic engineers are able to bring to the table. And bots just can't do that. Not only that, but they don't think in terms of long-term consequences. And so even Claude Opus 4.6, supposedly the most genius AI out there, doesn't freaking think in long-term consequences, and it'll just do things, or it'll tell you to do things that maybe work, but then there's things that you will find out later. You're like, oh geez, why didn't you warn me that this was going to happen? Oh, well, yeah, that's a second order effect, but you know, I didn't think about that. My bad, I'm so sorry. Yeah, you're so sorry, dude. You just cost me a bunch of time, money. So be careful of those sort of things. Keep your human brain always working and checking things and thinking critically, because even the smartest LLMs will not do that. They will not think about consequences. And, well, it's about your prompting. No, it's not. It's not about prompting. That was like 8 months ago. Prompting was a thing. It's not really about prompting. It's about how you communicate with it. And so you still have to be communicating clearly. It's not about a special prompt. It's just about, hey, this is what I want to do, but watch out for these things. So I don't want to do it, you know, in a way that possibly negatively impacts this other thing. Oh, okay. And then it'll find a solution. But if you don't say that, it's going to take the easiest path of least resistance. It's like the laziest person ever, the laziest smart person. And it'll find that path of least resistance, but it'll often have consequences later on that you weren't wanting to have. So you got to stay on top of that. But anyways, let's see how we go. We'll keep going after this. And things change so fast. Things are changing every day. So I'm just hoping that by the end of this month, I'll really be able to get good use out of these agents. And I mean, that's part of the process too. I don't want to spend 200 hours a month just in OpenClaw trying to figure out how to make it useful. That's like literally the opposite of my purpose with wanting to use agents. So if you've done that, good job. Kudos to you. I'll watch your video and see what I can learn from it. But I want to spend like 2 hours, maybe 2 hours a week. And then I want my agent to spend those 200 hours a month doing things for me. That's the goal.